all you need to understand the market in a nutshell. This is Deep Dive Finance by N3WS.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Deep Dive. Today we're diving into some recent events in the business world. Specifically, we'll be looking at Boeing, Tesla, Southwest Airlines, and an interesting acquisition in the entertainment world.
Yeah, sounds like there's going to be a lot to cover today.
Absolutely. Let's kick things off with Boeing. Boeing workers are currently on strike.
Oh, right. They rejected that second contract offer.
Yeah, and this has really sent shockwaves through the company and, of course, the market.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely not just some small dip in their stock price either.
Right.
After that strike announcement, Reuters reported a 2.7% drop. I think that drop really reflects this deeper concern that investors have.
So you're saying it's more than just a temporary blip?
Yeah, for sure. Investors are thinking long term. They're asking themselves, can Boeing actually get through this? Can they still meet their production deadlines with workers who are unhappy? And of course, the big question, can they stay on top in the industry if this keeps dragging on?
So what are the workers so upset about?
Well, it's not just about the money. I mean, of course, wages are a part of it, but there's more to it,
Okay.
Reports are saying that they are really worried about their benefits, like healthcare, and also things like their retirement plans. And they're also worried about job security.
I see.
They just want a contract that shows the company values them. They want to know that their needs will be taken care of in the future, too.
This is all happening while Boeing is still recovering from that whole 737 MX issue, isn't it? It's like they're dealing with trouble both inside and outside the company at the same time.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. It makes you wonder, how can they possibly handle all these problems at once and still stay competitive?
Yeah, it's definitely a situation we need to keep an eye on. Now, shifting gears a bit, let's talk about a company that's actually doing extremely well.
Tesla.
Oh, yeah, they are doing great.
Yeah, their stock is going through the roof right now.
Yeah, I saw that. And this is after they released a really strong earnings report for their third quarter.
It's like everyone is super optimistic right now about their future, especially Elon Musk. There was even a headline in MarketWatch that said, Tesla's stock surges after earnings. It's hard to be anything but optimistic.
Yeah, I saw that one. They seem to be really hitting their stride.
Totally. But their success isn't just about strong earnings. It's deeper than that.
Right.
They're also really tapping into the growing demand for electric cars and, all those sustainable energy solutions that people are looking for.
It feels like Tesla is always pushing the boundaries in the car industry. It's like they're operating in a different world almost.
It's funny you say that because it's a total contrast to what we were just talking about with Boeing.
Right.
Boeing is stuck dealing with problems from their past, while Tesla seems to be completely focused on the future. Pretty interesting, isn't it?
For sure. Now let's move on to Southwest Airlines. Things haven't been quite as smooth over there.
Yeah, definitely some turbulence for them.
Yeah, they've had a lot of scrutiny lately, especially from that activist investor, Elliott Management.
Oh, right.
Elliott Management is known for buying a bunch of stock in companies and then pushing for changes to make more money. They clearly think Southwest could be doing better, and they're not afraid to say it.
Yeah, and all that pressure really led to some big changes. Southwest ended up restructuring their entire board to try and, I guess keep Elliott Management happy.
Yeah, and to try and match Elliott Management's vision for the company. But here's the crazy thing. In the middle of all this drama, Southwest actually managed to turn a profit for the third quarter. Kind of unexpected, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it is. It really shows that they're tough and can adapt. Considering all the pressure they've been under, it really makes you think maybe Elliott Management getting involved, even though it caused some problems, might actually be good for them in the long run.
It's definitely a possibility. Now for our last story, let's talk about professional bull riders. PBR? Well, get this. TKO Group Holdings just bought PBR, along with On Location and IMG from Endeavor.
Wow.
And the price tag. A cool $3.25 billion.
Wow, that's a lot.
Right. It's pretty wild that they bought bull riding, live events, and even sports marketing all together. What do you think their plan is?
Well, it seems pretty clear that TKO wants to build a big entertainment empire.
Right.
I mean, this purchase gives them a way into several markets that are growing really fast, and now they have all these different pieces that could work together.
Yeah. And to make things even more interesting, TKO also announced that they're going to buy back some of their own stock after this purchase.
Oh, wow.
Seems like they're pretty confident about the value of what they just bought.
Yeah.
It's going to be really interesting to see how they combine these different businesses and use them to reach more people.
Yeah, absolutely. This whole thing raises a lot of questions, like, are we going to see more of these big entertainment companies merging together? And what will that mean for people like us who just like to watch?
I think those are great questions, and they bring up a bigger trend that we see in all of the stories we talked about today. Whether it's employees demanding better treatment, companies adapting to new technologies, or investors shaking things up, the business world is always changing.
And all those changes affect everyone, whether they realize it or not.
We've seen a lot of different things happening, from workers striking to companies being bought and sold, and it's all happening across different industries. So what does this tell us about the future of business?
That's the big question, isn't it? And to add to that, what industries do you think will change the most in the next few years?
And how can we as individuals and as a society get ready for those changes? These are questions worth exploring, and we hope you'll continue the conversation.
Because the future of business is still being written, and we all have a role to play in shaping what it looks like.
Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground today. Hopefully everyone listening found this exploration of the business world as interesting as we did.
It never ceases to amaze me how these seemingly unrelated events we talk about all connect in some way. Like they're all part of this bigger picture of what's happening out there.
Yeah, and one thing that really stood out to me as we were talking is just how much uncertainty there is right now.
Oh, absolutely.
Whether it's Boeing dealing with those unhappy workers, Tesla trying to stay ahead in a market that's changing so fast, or Southwest with those investors breathing down their necks. It seems like no one really knows what's going to happen next.
Yeah, and then you've got TKO jumping into the entertainment world, which is a whole other can of worms.
Yeah.
With streaming and all these new ways people are watching stuff, that industry is changing like crazy too.
Right, exactly. It feels like every industry out there is facing its own unique set of problems and opportunities, and no one really has a crystal ball to see what's coming next.
But, even with all that uncertainty, there's also this sense of excitement. Don't you think? I mean, we're living in a time where things are changing faster than ever, and that creates a ton of possibilities.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's like exhilarating and kind of scary at the same time.
I know what you mean.
But I think the big takeaway here is that we can't just sit back and wait for things to happen.
Right.
Whether you're the CEO of some giant company or just starting out in your career, you got to be ready to adapt, be creative, and be open to new things.
And more than anything, just stay curious. Keep asking questions, keep exploring, and never stop learning.
Because in a world where everything is constantly in flux, change is the only constant. The people who can roll with those changes are the ones who are going to succeed.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So as you go about your day, we hope you'll keep these stories in mind. Think about how all these forces shaping the business world might be affecting your own life, your own work.
Yeah, because the future isn't just something that happens to us.
Right.
We all have a hand in creating it.
That's a great point. Well, that wraps up our deep dive for today. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.
See you then.